hasn't got a plan. Listen here. Okay, we're back on the GQ today, guys, and it's an exciting one. We're going to hopefully get this thing buttoned up, finished, on its wheels, ready for a little bit of action, or at least ready for its new engine transplant. For starters though, kiss goodbye to this shed because we've got an upgraded shed loading in the background at the moment. This will probably be the last episode you see in here, so it served us well. Time for bigger and better things. The GQ needs a lot of love. As you can see, it's been hovercar mode for a long, long time. We have to do something about that if we do want to move into our new shed and actually just get this project fucking done. So today is all about that. We've got my mate Sam from Ratbag Racing. He's going to come and give us a hand. We gave Max the day off. He's got to get his shit ready for the Brisbane four-wheel drive show, finish his compound turbo setup and all that sort of stuff. So a couple of Sams going at it today. It's what you know and love. For starters, HD Automotive have sent us a whole bunch of bits and pieces, swivel hub kits, wheel bearings, brakes, calipers, rotors, pads, you name it. So that is going to help us get the front and the rear end sort of dialed in and together. We've got our GU high pinion diff centers. These have been built with our Harrop e-lockers and they're done by Geared Up Drivelines in Budgerham. So fingers crossed. These are both high pinions. Not a lot of people run a GU 4.1 high pinion front diff in the rear, but we're going to give it a go and see what happens. So fingers freaking crossed. Back here we've got our low fork chromoly front CVs and axles. They are supplied with the Dwiz front diff as well. So the front end of this car is going to be absolutely indestructible. We've got our knuckles, we've got our genuine freewheeling hubs, all our superior gear up the back here as well, because we do have to get front shocks, drag links, panhards, heaps of shit still in this car. We ran out of time with Max last time, so hopefully today's the day we finish it. And then to finish the day off, we get to fit these new 35-inch Maxxis razors on those ROH rims. This thing, by the end of today, should look like a running, driving, fully functioning car. It's going to be far from it, but it should at least look like it. That's half the challenge. Anyway, it's going to be all hands on deck. Let's dive in and get messy. Let's quickly talk diffs for the GQ. Now, obviously by now, if you have watched the previous episodes, you know we're going full GU running gear. We've got the Superior Off-Road Pro 4-inch kit under there. We've got GU diffs. The front is a chromoly sheet metal Dwiz housing, which is going to be partnered perfectly with these chromoly axles behind us. So the front housing is basically got a big chromoly tube that runs inside it, so it's braced internally, so you don't lose any sort of clearance to the sump or to the ground, which I really like. And then Dwiz, as an option, can supply you these low fork chromoly front axle and CVs. So basically, we're going to have an indestructible front end, which is really cool. We're running that with GU factory freewheeling hubs, the genuine ones. Rumour has it they're pretty much as strong as you're going to get. And inside this box, we've got those Superior freewheeling hub, I guess, strengthening rings, you'd say. So just to sort of help hold them all together. Sometimes they crack if you're really abusing them, but I'm hoping with those plus these rings with a little bit of mechanical sympathy, it should actually all be sweet. Now, in terms of diffs, we are running I think we're running 4.3s. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure we're running 4.3s because we got the 35s on this thing, which will be road legal here in Queensland. I think we ended up going 4.3s. You can get 4.1s, 4.6s, 4.3s, 3.9s. You can get a whole bunch of different ratios to these things. We found a really nice set of 4.3 genuine diffs and stuff. Both of these are high pinion. So what that means is this is the rear, for example, but if we lift it up on the side there, sort of like that, you'll see that the pinion where the flange is actually higher than the center of the diff, hence your high pinion. Now, very popular in the front of GUs, and these are, I guess, technically front diffs, because you want to get that front drive shaft angle as flat as possible to limit any sort of bind from the unis. What is pretty unconventional is running a high pinion front in the back, but we're doing it anyway. See if I care. The reason we're doing that is basically we want the drive shaft angle to be as flat as possible. You're going to have the best sort of longevity out of your unis and that sort of thing. It's also way easier to get a 4.3 front high pinion than it was to get a 4.3 standard sort of rear diff for an H223. Some people reckon these are 20 to 30% weaker than a normal sort of diff by going the high pinion. Some people reckon it's totally fine and completely acceptable. We're going to fuck around to find out. We've gone and done it, so We'll see what happens. And we fitted both of these, or geared up drive lines in Budgerham there, fitted up our Harrop Eaton E-lockers to these. We've got them in the 80 and they've been phenomenal. We're gonna have them in the 60. We're gonna have them in all our cars. So hopefully it all goes together smoothly. Hopefully the GQ tail shafts bolt up to these, and hopefully we don't destroy Diffs. Fingers crossed.
Hey, all work, no pleasure. I ain't here to make friends, big stepper. Hey, bad guy, Heath Ledger. Ready for wherever, I'll be front and center. Don't fly too close to the sun, your body chopped up by propellers. Arrogant, left out in the structure. The comparison, y'all know y'all couldn't replicate it. Chilling in the desert, I'm good under pressure.
Dude, if this goes in, I'll be fucking shocked. So for a bit of context, we obviously brace this up at Hyperfab using the Superior brace kit. Now it is important when bracing diffs to re-straighten them afterwards or use a jig to avoid bending, or alternatively weld them in little increments, you know, like stitch, 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 stitch. We did none of that. So my trepidation here is that we go to put this in and even the slightest warp in the diff housing will mean that this dead straight axle and those perfectly straight splines will not scissor fuck the diff, which will lead us to want to kill ourselves. We're fucking going to find out. Anyway, new inner axle seals. Make good choices. No one saw that coming. If you're wondering why we're moving sheds as well, you'll notice that doing this on the floor with several underrated jack stands is not the way to do it. The new shed means we can have a hoist.
This a marathon, not a sprint. Let's go 100 miles. On the ground, to the clouds, never coming down. That's the crown on me, wear it proud. Show 'em what we bout. Stick around with me, hold it down. Look at what we found. This a marathon.
All right, so Sammy from Ratbag is hooking in at a rate of knots. It's absolutely epic. So we've got these rear axles in, the diffs in, everything went straight in, no warping or anything, so that's really nice to see. We are having to steal a fair few bits and pieces off the original GQ diff, so sorry Dylan. Now it's time for brakes. Now, if you're anything like me, you'd know that getting brakes for a vehicle that's mix and matched from other cars can be a nightmare through traditional parts stores. So this is a 93 GQ with 2004 GU suspension and brakes and an engine out of a different car altogether, similar to the 80, similar to the 60 series in the future. Most parts stores are going to basically hit you with the, sorry mate, we need your rego, otherwise we can't help you. And if you try to guess, you're going to get the wrong shit. We started using HD Automotive for all our hard parts, brakes, bearing kits, swivel hub stuff, you know, pretty much all your hard parts and service essentials. And the best part about them is you can speak to someone that actually knows modified four-wheel drives. They've all got FTE swap GUs and done up 70s and really cool things there. So it's not out of the usual for them. They understand that people swap and interchange parts and bits and pieces into other vehicles. So we've got all GU gear here, all brand new calipers, ceramic pads, and just your sort of standard style OEM brake rotors. This thing's only going to have like 300 horsepower and it's never going to be a speed demon like the 80 series is. So we didn't really need to spend that money on slotted rotors and doing, you know, massive upgraded brakes. But at least having the GU calipers in the front on that GU diff will give us a little bit of improved braking. We've got the brake proportioning valve extension in there from Superior. We've got some really nice bitey ceramic pads. HD Automotive to the rescue. All that's left to do is put them in. Yum, yum, yum. Legitness.
That was legitness.
Nice, man. The beautiful thing about having random shit flying around is that parts that you forgot that we needed, we just accidentally have. So we've got, I mean, thankfully we didn't need it. We've got the brake proportioning valve, we did need it. We've got bits and pieces of hardware. We've got these soft lines that we're going to reuse for now, the factory hard line and stuff. We've got this T-piece as well, which we're going to need. So being able to pinch all these bits and pieces off the spare stuff we've got lying around makes life very easy. Now watch as I carefully round this brake line off and then make it Sam's problem. And you're like, oh, you know, vice grips would be good, but yeah, the vice grips are under the car, stopping all the brake fluid from falling out the arse of it.
That was genius!
So on these things, they're getting a bit long in the tooth and a little bit old, as are pretty much all the rubber components. Thankfully, the Off-Road Pro Kit by Superior comes with these awesome extended braided brake lines. So The rubber ones, not only can they perish, but under hard braking and heat, the rubber can actually balloon and expand. So instead of pushing the fluid into the caliper to get that piston to lock on the brakes, it can actually swell the rubber brake lines to give you a really shitty brake feel. So not only are these longer, so you're not going to run out of brake line, and that's not going to be your limiting factor in articulation, but because they're braided, there's no chance of the fluid actually swelling this. So you're always going to have really sure-footed, direct feeling brake feel at least. And I believe these are Australian made. If not Australian made, they're definitely all met to the ADR and Australian standards. So along with all this kit, we're going to be road legal in Queensland, signed off, all happy days. We've got all new brake gear from HD Automotive, partnered with these, partnered with all the other superior gear. This thing's going to be like a whole new car. Hopefully it drives better than it would have ever out of the factory, I reckon. This is how you make your car not flex. I mean, be legal. Sway bar disconnect, or at least quick disconnect. Picture this, something like this. That's your link. You get to the track where legality can take a fucking holiday. You would pull that. Thanks for coming. That stays there. You get back to the street. Bada bing, bada boom. 2025. So if you're playing with bush, lube it up. So you don't want to cause premature ejaculation, premature wear. Hey, you get your fingers stuck in an unlubed up bush, you're in trouble.
What did he say? Yeah, you're right. 5, 6 days. Alan, please.
Road legal in 0 states.
That's tough.
I know this is hard to believe, folks, but I'm a fucking spanner when it comes to organising the correct parts. And whilst what's in front of me looks correct, it's what behind me. I just had a minor stroke. It's what's behind me that is not. As you can see, we have part A and we have part C. What we are missing is the bit that bolts onto here, and then that bolts onto it. And the good news is this car is sat here for a month like this waiting for today, and you'd think I would have double checked the parts. But anyway, I'm a fuckwit and here we are. Anywho, Sam, Ratbag Racing man, the myth, the legend, has crunched the science, and turns out our GQ bits are gonna fit the GU. So it's just like the swivels and the hubs are different, but that center bit that bolts to the front of the rotor and then the hub bolts to it, that is gonna be the same. So again, Dylan, I'm sorry. I'm taking all your parts, but I will give you some money back or a case of beer or something. But anyway, we're gonna steal that off the old GQ stuff and we'll be able to make it work here, which means we can get that diff in. We just went and grabbed new studs from in town. Then once the diff is in, the axles are in, those chromoly low 4 axles, and all the hubs and stuff are on, we can start looking at this shiny shizzle. So this is more superior gear. It's all their really strong comp spec stuff. We didn't go the alloy gear in this. I don't know. It's up to you really what sort of floats your boat. I think this is going to look really cool. So you got your chromoly front CVs and axles, extended braided brake lines. We've got our really long shocks. We've got this, which is our steering dampener bracket. So that's going to bolt onto the front there with these U-bolts. We've got our steering dampener. We've got new bushes. We've got a sway bar over on the shelf for it. We've got a whole bunch of stuff. If you remember from last episode, if you haven't already seen it, go and watch it, but we've got our raised shock mounts in there already, our bump stop extensions. We've got our remote reservoir mounts. We've got the 5-link in the front there. We've got the Dwiz GU housing and all that sort of gear. Amongst other things, the tail shafts will also not work. So that's fun. I don't know. Everyone I've spoken to says, yeah, mate, they bolt in. And I'm telling you they don't. So I don't know what's going on, but welcome to fucking around and finding out. Anyway. I don't know what time it is. I think it's like 1 o'clock or something. It's meant to be a half day. We're halfway through the day and we're halfway through the work, so that's pretty fucking good. There's a cyclone brewing.
Cyclone Alfred. Hello, motherfucker.
It's very hot and humid. It's all gonna be fine. Let's get stuck in.
Go and try your luck. Test me in again, we let it rain. Please don't start us up. Got that black and white, that yin and yang. Mr. Officer, please don't search us, we don't got a thing. Tell her park it up. Run that ass, we poking out them jams. I was sparking up. Like the fireworks, I keep the flame. Heard you barking up. It's the wrong tree, I got the strings. I'm charging up. They can keep up, got them looking drained. Now they walking up, trying to put the face to the name. Pull up and I scream, and I'm swerving. If a nigga try to holler, she gon' curve him. We came from under rugs like a Persian. We been staying in our lane, ain't no merging. Wrap a nigga like a motherfucking turban. Yeah, these niggas all square like Irvin. Yeah, we grew up in the hood, no suburbans.
Okay, now I know this is gonna come as a surprise, but it hasn't gone to plan. Fucking crazy, I know. We thought we had everything to put the front end together. Didn't have the wheel bearing hubs or the spindle. So we had the actual swivel hub, I guess, the actual big knuckle. We had the freewheeling hubs, but not the bit in between the bolts to the brake rotor. Then we went over to our GQ pile of shit and we tried to pull bits and pieces out of that and see if it'd work. And they're slightly different, so that's a little bit of a drama. We have, however, been able to assemble the hubs and brakes using the GQ stuff, but we do really need that GU spindle. So we've actually got someone from Marketplace. I think he was pretty desperate to get rid of it because he's driving it to us, which is unheard of. So he's dropping that off pretty much any minute now. So we'll have the spindles in. We've got the steering arm, the panhard, and then the drag ring can go in a sec. We've got our lengthened brake lines that can go in soon. We're just about to chuck the springs and shocks back in. And then it's a car with 4 wheels and suspension again. So that's kind of exciting. And it's exciting because when it gets to that point, we can put it on a trailer and move it to our new shed and put this thing on a hoist so we don't ever have to do this shit on the floor again. It's been good. It's been a good day.
Stop it. Get some help.
Well, it's been a long day. I don't know if you can tell. The cyclone didn't hit, so it's a relief off some shoulders, but then this piece of shit fought us every step of the way, so
it did.
It's, no cyclone, but cyclone GQ in a way. This pretty much wraps up the suspension side of things. We've done all we can on the floor of a dirty garden shed. Next up is put it on a trailer now that we can, get it to Hyperfab, get the long arms, modify the sliders, a little bit of bracing, and then send it back to get certified. How did you find first day in the shed?
Yeah, it's pretty humid in here.
Yeah, it's
especially with the cyclone on its way.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
It's good to have it done.
Man.
Good to have it on its wheels.
Yeah. No, I think it looks sick. Hopefully you guys approve. Make sure you comment below if you think it's absolutely epic. Turns out GU diffs and negative 22 rims might not have been the best choice. That's all right. It's legal until it's not. You know what I mean? And if you guys do need any work around the Sunshine Coast on your car, 4-wheel drive, whether it's modified or not, Sammy from Rat Bag Racing is the man to be on Instagram. Hit him up. Awesome, bro. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, man.
We'll see you next Thursday.